Hello, welcome to the program and congratulations to all our Muslim faithfuls wherever you may be watching Happy Eid al-Fitr celebration. Well, across the country today we've seen Muslims go to the praying ground in what is marked the end of the Ramadan fasting period, which culminated into the Sultan of Sokoto giving the announcement for the commencement of the celebration, which marked the end of the fasting period. So we saw several of Muslim faithfuls who have taken to the different praying grounds across the country. It happened here in Abuja, in Lagos, and several parts of the country where leaders and citizens have prayed for forgiveness, peace, and unity of the country. Tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari's statement when he hosted some Nigerians at the presidential villa gets our attention. He's asking for pardon for those he feels he may have offended in action or in word. We'll be getting to know what has become of the Buhari 8-year journey since 2015. As the president said, he will be leaving the villa and he will not spend one day. In fact, he said he will be staying very far away from the villa so that he can get the needed retirement from office. We'll be getting to speak with one of President Buhari's aides tonight on the program and analyze some of these issues for you. Then we'll speak with one of the presidential candidates in the 2023 election, and will be giving us insight into what happened in Adamawa State, the lessons, as now INEC has said they do not even know the whereabouts of the wreck, but the federal government has since suspended the wreck. But before we get into our conversation, here are some of the stories on our political roundup.
Thank you, Sheung. Good evening. I am Kayla Megwa, and these are your political roundup stories for today. Former Vice President and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the just concluded presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, believes that Nigeria can become the country of our dream if peace and unity is given a priority. The former Vice President was speaking shortly after observing the two congregational Rakat prayers as Muslims across the globe mark this year's Eid al-Fitr.
We can only have unity if we give every part of this country, every religion, a sense of belonging as far as, the running of affairs of this country is concerned.
Senate Chief Whip Odjis Okalu says any attempt at an interim government is absolutely unconstitutional and will be met with the stiffest resistance from lawmakers. The Abia senator said this on the sidelines of his 63rd birthday celebration at his residence in Abuja. The senator representing Abia North Senatorial District, who has openly thrown his hat in the ring for the post of Senate President in the 10th Assembly, says the next class of legislators will be loyal to the Nigerian people.
The 10th Senate will be loyal to Nigerians. That's number one. We are not going to be loyal to any party or anybody or any individual or any group. Where the 10th Senate collectively will be loyal to Nigeria.
The Kaduna State Governor-elect Senator Uba Sani has assured the people of the state that he will run an inclusive government where every citizen and group will be carried along in government policies and programs when he assumes office as the governor of the state come May the 29th. Senator Sani was speaking after observing the Eid prayers at the Murtala Mohammed Eid ground in the Kaduna State capital. The former governor of the state, Ramalan Yero, and the 14th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi, were among the dignitaries that observed the Eid prayers.
Of course, I have no doubt in my mind the people of Kaduna State, since after the election, have decided to come together and work together, irrespective of our religious or political affiliation.
Yobe State Governor Mr. Idi Gubana is asking residents of the state to pray towards successful transition of Buhari's administration to the newly elected president, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Mr. Gubana was speaking immediately after performing 2 Rakat prayers at the Yobe Mosque and Islamic Center, marking the end of the 2023 Ramadan fasting, where he charged Muslim faithful to always fast so as to obtain the blessings and forgiveness of Almighty Allah. And the former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, has enjoined Muslims to imbibe the teachings of the holy month of Ramadan, among which is peace, love, and kindness. He urged them to be law-abiding and always respect constituted authorities.
Call to Zamfara people is done to continue to fear Almighty Allah, to fear God in each and every of their thoughts and do's. So, and also to continue maintaining the peace in Zamfara State.
The Ogun State Governor, Mr. Dak But Abiodun has assured residents of the state of improved critical infrastructure development to facilitate socio-economic development and a new lease of life for communities where their infrastructure are needed. He was speaking in the Shagamu local government area of the state while inspecting the ongoing 1.5-kilometer hospital road construction in that area. Those are the political roundup stories for today. It's back to you, Sharon.
Now, for those who now remember what the president said some time ago in one of the interviews in Daura, his hometown in Katsina State, where he said he cannot wait until he gets out of office, we'll probably not be surprised by his statement today when he says as soon as he retired or leaves office on the 29th of May, he will not spend one single night in the villa. And in fact, he said he will move very far away from the presidential villa, the seat of power, for a needed retirement. The president today, after observing the Eid al-Fitr prayers at the praying ground here in Abuja, the president also proceeded with top government officials to the banquet hall where he hosted several government functionaries. It was at that moment where the president made it known what perhaps is on his mind. The president has said, look, I may have offended a few people, but please forgive me. Let me allow you to listen to the president.
Finally, I can't even wait to go home. If you said that, I will move to Niger Republic. Having been a governor, a minister, then the president twice, I think God has given me an incredible opportunity to serve the country. And thank God for that. So please, whoever thought that there has been some form of injustice on him, we are all human. There is no doubt I had some people, and I wish they would pardon me. And those that think that I've hurt them so much, please pardon me.
Well, we will be taking a look at what this means, that statement, what it means, and perhaps some of the dimension to all of these issues. I'm being joined by Mr. Garba Shehu, the President's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, who joins us from in Abuja virtually. Thank you so much, Mr. Shehu, and happy Eid al-Fitr celebration to you.
And you too. Thank you.
Thank you so much indeed. Well, it could be on a lighter note, but seriously also, because I know in the last 48 hours or so, there's been a back and forth between the government and the governor of Benue State and the villa. So when the president said, if I had offended you, forgive me, does this include the governor of Benue State?
The president of Nigeria does not have ill will towards anyone. This is clearly demonstrated over the years by his actions. As we speak today, there is no politician in detention for things that they have said against President Muhammadu Buhari. There is no journalist in detention for things that they have written or said against President Muhammadu Buhari. So Muhammadu Buhari does not personally hold grudges against individuals. He's a very forgiving person, and this is why he maintains a steady, stable health. He goes to bed with nothing against anyone on his mind, and he sleeps very soundly.
Why does he think that he has offended people? Perhaps his critics would have said, okay, you came to office on a tripod of promise to fix the economy, end insecurity in Nigeria, and of course, fight corruption. If it's based on those policies, maybe that's one reason they may hold a grievance on him or with him, and perhaps thinking, as the president delivered on the promises that he made to Nigerians. Now that he knows he has just about 40 days to leave office, does the president feel that in some way there may have been some shortcomings in the delivery of his promises to Nigerians?
Two things, Sheung, I would like to say. One is that, yes, the president asked for pardon from those he may have offended. But it's clear that there was no personal or specific admission of wrongdoing on his part. And two, I think we should not take the speech out of the context in which it was made. This essentially was a religious get-together. Occasions like this, and I believe it is in all the scriptures, prayers are always said for the victim and the abuser. It happens. And for those coming from the background of Islamic religious faith, responsibility means more than what it ordinarily does to a number of people. As President and Commander-in-Chief, the President has a responsibility, that's the Islamic law, for everything that happens in the country, daytime, nighttime, whatever season. In the same way as you, as the head of a family, you're responsible.
There seems to be some...
May not buy, and the president may not by himself gone out to offend somebody. But all of the authorities that report to him, whether they are tax authorities or financial crimes authorities, in the conduct of their duty, they may cross some lines. As far as that context is concerned, President Muhammadu Buhari is equally liable, in fact, singly responsible for being head of state.
So, if you now look at it, Mr. Shehu, although the president and governors have the prerogative to give pardon and clemency, but I don't know if some of the Nigerians whom he's asking for their pardon, they will find it in their heart on a day like this to pardon the president. And let's put into context this time around the performance of President Buhari. I mean, Governor Otom might be very critical of this government, but the question is that many Nigerians have died under the watch of President Buhari, who in 2015 said that he will fight insecurity to his nails. And those who will say, in fact, things may have gotten worse under President Buhari's watch. This might be one of the reasons he's asking for forgiveness. But how much of forgiveness can some of those who have lost their siblings, their friends, their family members, will be able to give for that government who promised that it's going to secure their lives, but they find it difficult to live peacefully? Ask the people of Southern Kaduna today, they will tell you a story, a sad one, isn't it?
Well, let me say that I believe that Nigerians are large-hearted people. They will forgive the president. And my hope and wish is, let's not make this a conversation on Mr. Otom and his Benue, now that the people of Benue have passed a judgment on his 8 years in office. Now, this is the beauty of democracy. The day of judgment is the day you go to the voter to ask for a new mandate. And the voter has the right to decline in a working democracy. And this is exactly what happened in Benue. So, as we said in our statement, if anybody wants to know who is responsible, who is chiefly responsible for all that had happened in Benue State, talk to the Benue people. That's all.
Well, I mean, that was just a premise to reference the insecurity situation in the country. And I'm saying that if you can only pass or fail in the area of insecurity that the president said he was going to fix. Could this be a failure? One of the things that the president is asking for pardon for.
Well, if the event this morning was aired live, you probably would have seen religious leaders, Muslim and Christian, speak about how much difference the president has made to the fact that as a bishop, as a presiding bishop or imam, you cannot enter your place of worship, church or mosque, without being screened, for bombs or weapons that you may be taken into that place of worship. It was that bad. And they were thankful to the president that all of that has gone. And let me say that, looking at the overall picture of security in the country, yes, it is true that there are still flashes of insecurity that happen in a number of places. But if you look at the big picture, the overall picture, looking at where we were coming from, where there was a total loss of control, where this country had been divided into two, with a section of it declared of a republic of some sort, with their flag, with their system of administration, taxation, and all of that. Come on, we have come a long way. We've gone very, very far away from those situations. And it is not as if anyone is letting up. President will work hard, will continue to do so until his last day in office on these matters.
Well, that is a naughty area that if we dwell on it, we might debate from now till tomorrow morning. But one area also that the president promised to really deal with is the area of the economy. But, I mean, I wouldn't even want to go into some aspect of the economy, but I will go into the aspect that is a bit very worrisome, and it's also going to affect the issue of security. About half of our population are poor. The NBA statistics shows that we have about 82 million Nigerians living in poverty. In fact, another figure, which is also staggering, is the fact that about 150 million Nigerians are in multi-dimensional poverty. I mean, if a president were to come 8 years ago, and we're looking back now to assess, if the president is to graduate after in an 8-year study, for someone who said he's got what it takes to fix the economy, and you are leaving 153 or so million Nigerians out of the 200 million in multidimensional poverty, I don't know how this government is going to rate or grade itself, or half of the population who cannot even afford $1 to feed a day. Isn't that embarrassing or perhaps disappointing for this government itself?
Well, I want you to reflect for a moment and to think. If the country had been governed in the last 8 years for another person, somebody other than President Muhammadu Buhari, what would have been the situation? Given his background of strict discipline, almost a Spartan lifestyle, and consider the massive corruption we're coming from, the years of PDP that we had inherited. Consider a situation in which this country, as we speak today, was without the massive agricultural program that has seen us exit importation of so many food items, including rice. Imagine what poverty would have been like if the infrastructure that had collapsed before we came in had continued to go in that same direction. Like you didn't have the second Niger bridge. You didn't have all of the massive projects going on, Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, Kaduna, Kano, the gas pipeline linking Ajaokuta to Kano. And all of these infrastructure deficits including power generation, which has today risen to nearly 20,000 or even more megawatts. These are jobs. This is welfare for Nigerian people. So yes,
why are the statistics saying otherwise? If you are referencing these, well, yes, we can see them. But the statistics by the MBS, that is probably controlled by the government itself, is giving figures. 33.3% of our Nigerians are unemployed. Mr. Shehu, these things that you are saying don't reflect in the figures.
Shehu, the crisis, cost of living crisis, is a global phenomenon. Nigerians need to just look beyond our shores and see how national economies are going into dissolution, liquidation. See what's happening to Kenya, to South Africa, to Ghana. All of these countries, even Europe itself. And so therefore, there is a global crisis that has afflicted the entire, global economy. When COVID came, all nations of the world recessed in their economies, except perhaps China. And this has continued to be compounded by crisis in supply systems, again warranted by ongoing situation between Ukraine and Russia and all of that. So what am I saying? That everyone is managing a bad situation, and Nigeria is not doing badly in doing this.
Give me a moment, Mr. Shehu. Let me come to our Abuja studio here with China Television election consultant and political analyst, Mr. Judy Ojo. Thank you so much indeed for coming on the program on a day as this. I know you are gaily dressed, perhaps. You visited a few friends for the celebration. But I mean, when you hear the president ask for forgiveness or saying, "Please pardon me," what comes to your mind?
I think it's expressing his humanity. He's a human being, like he said. He's a human being like you and I. And in the course of his action or inaction, he definitely will have stepped on toes. And he has chosen 38 days to the exit of his administration to plead for forgiveness. But he's not the only one. A few days ago, Governor Ganduje, Umar Ganduje of Kano State was the first to come out to say people of Kano should forgive him. He possibly has stepped on some toes. And it's normal and natural for politicians to do that. Even PDP, after 16 years of misgovernance, came out after the Ekweremadu report. I think it was
Prince almost knelt down in Abuja.
God bless you. So you can see that's a whole political party to say, look, Nigerians, forgive us. We have heard. We committed a lot of atrocities. We did things the way it should not be done. So it's in the way of politicians to seek forgiveness. And it is also in the ways of every human being who believes in a supreme God to seek forgiveness. After all, the Lord's Prayer, our Father who art in heaven. So it's not out of place, but my own point of departure is, yes, there are actions and inactions. There are those actions that are force majeure. You cannot help. So things just have to happen the way they are. And there are those, somebody will say error of the mind, error of the heart. Let me put this in context. Mr. President, in putting Nigeria through the excruciating pains of Naira redesign, and people were complaining.
Is that forgivable?
It's like for Nigerians.
Because there are businesses that are no more.
God bless you.
Because of that policy.
And people were
warning.
People begged. People said, look, Mr. President, this isn't working. This is the eve of election. There are those who lost election in APC because of the president's action.
I said there on this platform, part of the reason Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu lost the election in Lagos was because of this excruciating pain. Recall that he himself came out that they deliberately, of course, he may say he was quoted out of context, but he said they hoarded money, they hoarded fuel, but he will contest and win. I mean, paraphrasing.
Mr. Ojo, there were people who stripped themselves naked out of frustration
in the banking hall.
People had money, but they couldn't get access to it. Understandable reasons that the CBN gave, that to curb this, to do this and do that. But the question is that how would you make policies that will make life more miserable for the populace, for the larger population?
And on top of it, February 8th, the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, said, look, I'm giving this order pending the determination of the merit of the case. Let status quo ante be maintained. The president, after that Supreme Court decision, addressed the nation and did a selective, application. Said, okay, 200 naira will be circulated. The old 200 naira will be recirculated in for another 60 days, but for 500 naira, 1,000 naira. So I think the president at that point should have observed the rule of law, agree with the Supreme Court justices, and allow and you could see that even when the final determination came, I think was it March 25 or thereabout, the CBN governor was still waiting on the president. I think it's my elder brother, Garba Shehu, that threw Emefiele under the bus by saying he shouldn't be waiting on the president to implement the Supreme Court decision. But that is the story. People lost business.
That is one policy.
What about oil theft? What do you have to say about oil theft? A military general, a major general retired in this country, under him, Nigeria lost almost half of his daily oil production to crude oil theft.
Can that be is that pardonable?
I'm not judging.
No, you are the political analyst.
Well, I'm not judging the president. I'm only throwing the issue out there.
No, but the question is that, and the reason why I'm asking you, if someone slaps you and is asking for forgiveness, it's up to you to know whether or not you are forgiven.
But in this respect, I can say, well, whatever it is, I forgive you, Mr. President. But those who are impacted most negatively, those who lost their means of livelihood, who lost their lives, who lost their businesses because of certain action and decision of the president, something that fall within his purview, would they want to easily forgive? The point is whether they even forgive or they don't forgive. There's little or nothing they can do about it. You remember that when Bishop Kukah came out with that homily early in the year, the presidency disagreed vehemently with him, but the public, what he said resonated more with the public. Because, yes, one thing I must say is that Mr. President is not a sole administrator. Governance is of 3 arms and 3 tiers. We have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, and we have the federal, state, and local government. But like Malangaba Shehu said in his earlier comment, that the president is asking for forgiveness even on behalf of some of his appointees who has ministries, departments, and agencies.
There are those who will blame the president that he gives people responsibility without acting.
Without proper oversight.
Is that pardonable?
Without what?
I'm asking rhetorical questions because we are dropping issues and policy decisions and style of leadership of the president that, look, it is a precedent. Anybody could come into office and say, after 8 years, I will ask for forgiveness and I will move on. It's not that easy because policy and decision of leaders have consequences on their lives. Look at how many Nigerians that have left this country because of hardship that they experience, because of the threats to their business, because of insecurity. So, are those pardonable?
For me, no action is not pardonable. Everything is pardonable. And even if he didn't ask for forgiveness, many Nigerians are saying we can't wait to let this man go. He said he's tired. He said he wants to go and rest. Let him go and rest. I read this, the published speech. Mr. President has been one of the luckiest, and he admitted earlier today that he's been one of the luckiest Nigeria. He has been everything anybody could aspire to be in life.
Minister, governor?
Minister, no,
President
military
twice.
administrator.
Yeah.
Way back in 1976, military administrator, Minister of Petroleum Resources, and he's under the same minister with all the experiences that we have, the highest level of oil theft
and the president who was also,
the substantive minister of petroleum resources.
Mr. Jide Ojo, let's assume that the president is having a meal right now and is watching this program. What would you have to say to him? He's going to retire to Daura, or what will you tell him if there's anything that he can do within the next 30-something days? 38 days is still a long day. I know some people are lampooning him for the Federal Executive Council awarding trillions of contracts, every Wednesday. Government is a continuum. He has done so many good things. I must admit, I'm not here to cast aspersion on his person or on the presidency. The second Niger Bridge improvement on infrastructure and all of that still stands to his credit. In fact, there are so many vital laws, the Electoral Act 2022, the National Disability Act, the Petroleum Industry Act, the anti-corruption bills that he signed into law. Recently, I wrote in my column in The Punch about, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, assessing the constitutional alterations. And I said this president has caught a bullseye in amending or altering the Constitution. The highest number of alterations of the Constitution happened under the Buhari administration. 2018, five clauses, 5 sections were altered. 5 bills signed into law, not too young to run, and the rest of it. And in this 2023, 16 other alterations. This is, is the highest for any So
president.
as he bows out, he's exiting, what would you like to say to him?
Well, what I would like to tell him is that, Mr. President, the last one month and 8 days left of you, make the best of it.
All right.
A lot can still be done in the 38 days that is left to impact positively. One thing I will score Mr. President low on is the tardiness in appointing people into positions. Look at the mess with former IGP extending his tenure, the former chief of CG of immigration.
Even the president IG, there is an issue. His birthday
so why is it that the president cannot find suitable replacement for people on time? Why do they not have to lapse and then he started looking for acting person?
Mr. Ojo, thank you so much for your thought there. Let me allow Mr. Garba Shehu. We just have 60 seconds, but I'd like you to throw your final thought tonight. Is it possible that the president will erase some of the bad memories of these last 8 years from the minds of Nigerians? A lot of them that may not be happy with him, that may be so agitated at things that this government's 8 years was a total failure.
I don't know anyone who is saying, except for opposition political parties that ran in the last election, I don't know anyone saying that 8 years is a total failure. But government policies under President Muhammadu Buhari are driven by the best of intentions, never driven by reasons of wickedness or ill will towards the national population. When you talked extensively on the currency exchange, a phenomenon, you obviously also ignore the fact that this is an administration that had launched a series of economic reform programs, one of which targeted the massive corruption that we inherited from the PDP years. And what it meant is that election should not be, this country had good elections, off-season elections from the time President Muhammadu Buhari took power to now. And every assessment that had been made came to say that good election, good turnout, all of that. However, the influence of money has been a big issue. So what is wrong in saying, well, can we have Nigerians decide who to lead them away from the influence of money? That's just one thing. And and see all of these things that about the kidnapping that people are talking about these days. When the currency thing was going on, did the kidnappers move against Nigerians? So these things also have their benefits.
All right, Mr. Ashewu, yeah. I must sincerely thank you, and I wish you and the team the very best as you prepare to transition out of office, then bring in the new administration. Thank you so much, Mr. Garba Ashewu, for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
When we return from the break, everyone, I will be bringing in a presidential candidate, and we'll be looking at Southeast politics, the Adamawa governorship election fallout, and some of the lessons that we can take away, and also how can we unite the nation. Plus, we'll be talking about sanitizing the electoral system. Stay with me, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us on the program. Let's now focus our attention on the incident that happened in Adamawa, incident that happened in Imo, and perhaps how these will impact on our politics and our electoral system. I'm being joined now by the presidential candidate of the Zenith Labour Party, who also is the national chairman of the Zenith Labour Party, Chief Dan Wanyan. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you, Shem, for having me.
Yeah. It's interesting that INEC National Commissioner was on the program earlier today on our morning show, and he said, they do not even know where the wreck of Adamawa is. And also the fact that the federal government said yesterday through the office of the SGF that the wreck stands suspended. I mean, for you as a politician who has interfaced with INEC on this matter, what lesson do you think we can take away from that incident?
What happened in Adamawa, I would say, is a low moment during this period of electioneering. You see, the law has made provision for the role every individual would play during the electoral process. That's why you have presiding officers, returning officers, you have all these people appointed by the law. Why the REC did that in the case of Adamawa, I was shocked. I was not in Abuja. I was somewhere. He had a brainwave. He decided to bring himself up to the public for crucifixion. You are not allowed by law to do that. You announced the results without figures. And it was like somebody, anyway, only one thing will make somebody behave in the manner the REC behaved. No two ways about it. And that is corruption. If you leave your duty post and assume the responsibility of another, not given to you by law to so execute, then of course, it's inducement, it's corruption. It's something that, and it's good, I must congratulate the INEC headquarters for acting timeously to arrest the situation, which they did.
For you, you're a lawyer,
yes,
a very senior one at that,
yes,
and you're a party administrator, and you're also a politician. What kind of loophole do you think that incident had left in our electoral process?
You see, so it's like blaming the beavers. Everything has been stated. Everybody has its limitations and limits. Some people up to today are still blaming the beavers. So when I told you here the last time that nothing is wrong with the beavers, I'm still saying it tomorrow. It is the hand that operated beavers that put us in that problem, as in Adamawa. Everything is there. He should have been arrested by the police.
But there is a police beside him.
That's the point. That's the point. That's the point. If the police was beside him, they will be accomplice to the action, to the act. They should all be put together for trial. There is nothing missing in this act, in this amended act. Nothing. Nothing that you don't have a solution in that act.
I mean, when the INEC says they summon him, and now they cannot even find him, there are those who believe that INEC shouldn't have summoned. They should have arrested him right there and then.
And I don't think INEC has power of arrest. They'll call the police, and you told me now that the commissioner of police was there. They are the ones to arrest him in Adamawa, and they are part and parcel of the deal. Don't call INEC. INEC has no power of arrest. They have written to the president, and the president has acted.
But the police is deferring to INEC, saying INEC needed to act.
You see, the way we are going, if we are not careful, this country will blow in our hands. People are not ready and willing to obey the rules. They want to do things in their own way. If it involves killing, they will kill, insofar as they achieve their purpose. This country cannot continue like that. The commissioner of police was there with his complete squad.
There is NFDC top official there also.
To supervise the illegality. Okay, there is an IG ahead of him. IG should intervene and bring all of them to book.
He has taken him out, but those who say, look, it was just an election CP.
That's not enough. That's not enough. It's an election CP. It's not enough.
If you were the president, would you intervene in this matter? As it threatens our democracy or the electoral law?
You see, the president has enormous powers to intervene timelessly on a lot of issues. Not by fiat. IG, are you seeing Adamawa? I want you to take action on it now. It's against the law. Look at it. It is enough. The president promised that he was going to hand over a good system. And I expected he should push it to the end. He got letter of INEC, he acted. What about the other areas? The security? It doesn't work that way.
I mean, because we should be sounding a deterrence, isn't it? On this, so that this kind of thing should not happen again.
It shouldn't happen.
It's an embarrassment on our democratic process.
They're already talking about amendment to electoral act. How many times are we going to amend it? Everything is in this act. There are still people, even professors, who are not convinced that Beavers is the way to go. Shehu, there is no that way to go. The next step we are going to go is to vote from our houses.
Is that possible?
It's possible.
I know we'll be at it all day. Let me take you, because I invited you for several other issues. I saw you in the video there in Imo State, and you folks have now agreed on a zoning formula. Is this something that is popular with the Imo people?
You see, the concept of Charter of Equity in Imo has been there since 1999.
But it has not been followed.
Governor Achiku Udenwa followed it and handed over to another zone, Ikedio Hakim. While in office, they used blackmail, half-truth, lies, naked lies against him, that he slapped a priest. It became a sing-song in churches. And that was very close to the election. There wasn't enough time to retract such things. He lost his mandate. The Catholic Church bishop came back to say it was not true. They apologized to Ikedio Hakim. But he has lost his mandate. And the beneficiaries were those who ruined our state for 8 years. Destroyed the state completely. I'm talking of Rocha's administration. They ruined Imo State.
Would that be fair to say?
I am challenging anybody on television. I'll pay for 1 hour. I will roll it out. I will roll it out. Look, for example, the International Conference Center. I investigated, the least figure I got was 3 billion. But somebody told me there was variation that pushed it to 5 billion. It started collapsing until we asked Opuzonuma to demolish it before it killed Imo citizens. It has been demolished now. 5 billion gone. Look at the police headquarters on Port Harcourt Road. Assistant Commissioner of Police told me that we will not move in there. We don't want our men to die. It's just beautiful outside because of the paint. Go and see inside. I mean, I don't want to go into that.
These are strong allegations you're making on that government.
I am from the States. It is my state. Let anybody challenge me on television, let's have 1 hour, I will pay. People, when I speak, I don't speak, as I have always said, I don't talk from the cattle field. I have my facts. And it was as a result of all this expose that this security came into Imo State. And we are still suffering from it today. So, the issue of the equity, charter of equity, is a simple thing.
Will it douse the tension?
I'm coming. It will. It will bring fairness. It will bring justice. Olusegun has ruled Imo State for 24 years, with Hope Uzodinma completing his tenure. Okigwe has just done 4 years.
No, Hope Uzodinma will do 4 years, and which will end in another few months. So he's seeking re-election.
Achigodonwa is 8 years. Rochas is 8 years. If Hope finishes 8 years, if he's elected again,
that is if he's elected.
That's 24 years. We are saying enough is enough. That's all we did.
So you now go to Owerri.
We said.
Where will you go next?
Move it to Owerri zone.
Next.
After Owerri, Okigwe.
And you rotate it
We
that
pushed
way.
it because I'm the chairman of the strategic committee of the Elders Forum.
But can we
I'm coming. It's important to get this
right. Okay, go ahead, please.
So we pushed it through. The elders accepted it. We now took it to the governor. He said, okay, he will now help to get it work. Elders Council now has been legislated upon by the State Assembly. So everything we are doing now is legal, unlike before. It's very legal.
But the governor is a party in this matter.
No, the governor has no hand in what we did. After inaugurating us, he has never attended them. He doesn't...
No, the point I'm making is
yes.
that you have presented it before the governor who is seeking a re-election.
Yes. All we are saying is after this Olu zone, after your tenure, Olu should tarry a while. Let it move to Owerri zone. And it was unanimously adopted. But people are writing, saying you have approved, they are members of APC. I'm not in APC. I am for common good. If you want to hate Governor Hope Uzodinma until Jesus comes, that is your business. You want to like him until Jesus comes in Imo, that is your business. You see, I will say this is what Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah 5:21 said, listen, O ye foolish, stupid, and senseless people. You have eyes, you cannot see. You have ears, you cannot hear. I'm quoting Jeremiah. You go to Ezekiel, the same thing, the book of Ezekiel. Even in Matthew, Jesus Christ was confronted by his followers and people. He said, so you have eyes you cannot see. You are not seeing because your heart is blind and wicked. That is what you are seeing in Imo. People are not seeing. If you cough, they say, hey, you're APC. If you cough again, they say, you're...
Is this charter of equity, is it applicable to other political parties? Are they adopting it?
Charter of equity is something we have to push down in Imo State. It is working in Anambra. It is working in Enugu. It has just worked in Ebonyi. Mwike has made it work in Rivers. There will be peace. There will be equity. There will be justice. If you don't like it, that is a problem. Well, you have the right. We're not saying you cannot contest. You can contest. Like in Anambra. Every Anambra, go and ask any Anambra man now. Ask him, from where will the next governor come? He will tell you. All tickets that will come from the other side, you will take your ticket, you will try, but you will fail. It has happened. That was why they are fighting Anjim Pius Anjim in Ebonyi. Because he said, it is not the turn. It's not our turn.
Can we adopt that technique for national politics for the presidency, for example?
Of course, that is the best way. That's why people are talking about rotation. That's why people are saying, let the power come to the south. Not to the north again. Charter of equity in Imo is something every political party will be involved in. We don't care what professors are writing on the media. We don't care about how they feel. All we are saying is, you see, when you fry akara, the oil is sweet. When you taste it, let another person taste. Mwike will say, enyendeba, enyendeba. That means, if you give these people, you give the other people. For those professors who have no job in Imo, but to write junks, accusing everybody, abusing everybody, it doesn't move people like me. My history about struggle starts 1979 when I joined the bank. And you cannot fault it. According to P2B, go and verify. I am for common good. I am for services. If you don't want to see what is happening in Imo, that is your business. It's not my business. I don't belong to those foolish, stupid, senseless people the book of Jeremiah referred to.
All right.
That's where all these people belong to.
Chief, this is where I would like you to anchor, because I also know that not only that was ratified, is also the leadership of Ohaneze in the Igbo, which is the umbrella body for most of the groups in Igbo land, is a socio-political entity that helps to foster the interests of the Igbo people. And is it not agreed that Chief Emmanuel Nwanyawu will be the leader of Ohaneze?
In fact, that was not even on our agenda as we attended the meeting. But when the issue came up, I moved the motion. I was privileged, I was allowed by the chairman of Elders Council, Ezilo Manya. I moved the motion when I raised my hand. I x-rayed the virtues of Chief Emmanuel Nwanyawu, that this is the man that can represent the Igbo in Ohaneze. Because we must start thinking. There are people in this country, they want to occupy a position, but they don't know what to do with it. Chief Emmanuel Nwanyawu has all the credentials. He's looking for nothing. God has blessed him. God has given him everything. When that motion was moved, it was unanimously adopted. We presented it to the governor just 2 days ago.
But as the old Indigbo agreed on
No. It is the turn of Imo.
Okay.
To produce the president with the demise of Obiozo.
The chair of Professor
Obiozo, may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
Imo will present him to the other states, and it will be a fait accompli. It will be taken as done, because that is our choice. So let him bring something new. Let him give it some bite, so that we can have Ohaneze that will look like stronger Fenifere, that look like stronger Arewa, so that they can partner for overall unity of Nigeria.
All right.
These are experienced people. These are people who have friends all over. You can't be talking to, at that level, you are thinking about anything that will affect Nigeria negatively. So it's part and parcel of what we did that day. And there are other issues.
Are you related with him?
No. We are from the same local government.
But not...
His own is there are Anyawus.
Okay.
Anyawu means God of the sun. Iwu Anyanwu, which is his own, IW.
Yeah.
Is the law of the God of the sun. Eke Anyanwu, Ike, is a creation of the God of the sun. Wanyanwu, NW, my own, means the son of the God of the sun.
Interesting.
Yes.
It's good to see you, and especially with your heart that you have been so selective in wearing all by yourself. But thank you so much again for coming on. Chief Dan Nwanyawu, I appreciate it. The national...
So when we start with the marketing of equity, Charter of Equity in Imo, we'll go everywhere. Those that don't like it, they can leave Imo. Enyendeba.
All right, thank you so much, Chief Dan Nwanyawu, National Chairman of the Zenith Labour Party, a member of the Imo's Elders Council, and the presidential candidate of the Zenith Labour Party in the 2023 election. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But that's our show for tonight, everyone. Tomorrow is Saturday, and I know you are in the holiday mood, but I will be back on Sunday, 8 p.m. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. God bless Nigeria.